All right guys, so welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to kind of point out a quick service. This is actually our own Model Y. You guys have seen this on the channel before. We have to rotate the tires. This is something that you guys with aftermarket wheels have plenty of experience on, especially if you have camber wear or anything like that. However, you don't want to be calling Tesla all the time, especially if you have aftermarket wheels and stuff like that, or you don't want to be going to the tire shop, because every time you're going down there to do these rotations, it's going to be $30 to $50 each time. Now, I believe Tesla recommends on their personal tires, the OEM tires, that you get it rotated every 6,250 or 6,500 miles or something like that. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's partially because the car is so heavy that you are going to be going through tires a lot more quickly than you are going to be with in a traditional gas-powered car. All right guys, so step one of this whole procedure is to actually safely jack up your Tesla. And I'm sure you guys have seen this before, but this is basically what you're going to be needing to safely jack up your vehicle. This is actually a jack puck specially designed for Teslas. It goes right into your frame rail. There are actually holes for it to go into, and you can see that there is a rubber gasket that holds it in place. So that is actually very, very important, guys, and I'm gonna show you where exactly I placed that. You guys can see this piece. The jack is right here on this side on the back part. And then you can barely make it out right here on the front part as well. You guys can see that I have a Quickjack system. So let me go ahead and demonstrate how we're gonna be using that. You guys can see that I have a piece of 2x4 under the tire, the rear tire actually, because the car is a little bit lower than OEM. This is actually a very common problem that we've been having, because these Teslas have very, very low clearance, especially when you put those jack pucks underneath. So sliding this Quickjack underneath can be a little bit of a challenge. So what we like to do is add 2x4s underneath the tires to raise the vehicle up just a tad bit so we can safely slide these jacks underneath. All right guys, so we have it all safely on the jack. I checked it up really quick. You want to go ahead and do this with the Quickjack a few times. You want to make sure that when you have it just jacked up a tad bit like that, you want to go ahead and check all your points and your jack points to make sure that it is not going to slip off that jack. So let's go ahead and put it up, guys. And then you can hear how that second lock initiated. You can go ahead and lower the vehicle down just like that, guys. All right guys, once you have the car jacked up, and it's kind of a challenge with these Teslas because of this battery pack. You guys know that once you get the jack onto the jack point, you don't have any place to put a jack stand. So they do sell safe jacks. I will put some links in the description just in case. I'm pretty sure that most of you guys don't have a quick jack system laying around your house. So the next part will be the 19mm socket, and then you go ahead and take it off. Wait a minute. Oh, crap. All right, be right back. All right, let's try that. Round two, guys. Let's see if this fits. This is a 19mm socket, metric socket. You guys can see that it has a non-marring protector sleeve. Let's try that. Success. So if you guys have OEM Tesla wheels, this probably won't be an issue, but however, I have these Volk Racing TE37 Ultras. They have pretty small lug hole, guys. Like right here does not fit traditional sockets. So this is actually gonna be a problem when you're trying to take off the wheel. You can also see that I have a special key, which is actually designed for this specific nut right here, guys. You can see that it fits like that. And then you use a 21mm to actually remove this one as well. And any 1/2-inch impact gun, this will work pretty well. I love these Milwaukee ones because they have a good amount of torque, and I have tons of these batteries laying around, so it's really good for the job. You guys can see that little Hubcentric ring right there. That is to adapt this hub to these Volk Racing TE37s, which are actually more common that you guys see on Japanese performance vehicles. All right, let's get the rear wheel off, guys. Be really careful when you take this thing off, because this thing will fall and hit you and chip your wheel. All right guys, so here we're back. Let's just go ahead and take a look at these tires and see what kind of condition they're in. This is from the front passenger side, guys. You can see that it is pretty good looking. And then you move on to the rear, and you can see that it's considerable amount of wear compared to the front. So I'm gonna go ahead and rotate these to the front and then the fronts to the back. We're gonna go ahead and try that and see how that works for the next 5,000 to 6,000 miles. All right, let's go put the fronts back on, guys. Sometimes it takes a little bit of tapping, love taps, if you know what I mean. There we go. So what I like to do, guys, is make sure to put the wheel lock on first, because I like to have it oriented just to the right of the Volk Racing logo. That way, we keep it right between the logo as well as the valve stem. Yeah, even with this thing, it is very, very tight on these wheels. So if you have a set of Volk Racing TE37s, just be careful on what type of sockets you guys are using, because it does make a difference. Because you could feel it as it's tightening up. It is kind of moving around the hub a little bit, just like that. And you get a whole lot more slack, guys. Here we go. And just kind of give it a little bit of knocks here and there, and it works out just fine. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and put this rear wheel on, guys. Sorry if you see my Yeezy slides in the video, but this really is the only way I could put it on without damaging anything or my wheels. All right, so that's that. Again, let's go ahead and start with the key first. And just like the front wheel, guys, we want to keep it between the Volk Racing logo and the valve stem, so we will choose this hole for where we want to put the key. All right. It's always the first one that's hard to get started, guys. And then, as common sense, guys, when you guys are working on a car and you're putting on wheels, go in a star pattern, because that evenly distributes the torque across your hub. And then what I like to do, guys, pardon my Yeezy slides one more time, I like to give it a couple of little taps like this. And this just helps me make sure that it's nice and seated. Before I go and put the car back down, make contact to the ground, and then I use a torque wrench to get the values just right. All right, guys, so we have all the wheels kind of rotated and back, ready to get the car back down. I just wanted to share something with you guys. This is the factory torque settings. If you guys can see, it is 129 pounds-feet of torque, which is actually a considerable amount, because most cars do not have that high of torque on the lug nuts. And I believe if you were to do that on like a BMW or some other car, you probably shear the whole, like the stud right off. So let's go ahead and put it back down, guys. And you guys can see that I still have a piece of wood underneath the rear tire, and you guys are gonna see exactly why. Convenient thing about these Quickjack, guys, go over here on this side, release. On the other side as well. All right, guys, remember why I said to leave that piece of wood over there? It's actually because of this right here, guys. You guys can see that I actually have some clearance between the block and the jack pucks so that I'm able to take my Quickjacks out. Otherwise, this thing will drop right down and all the weight would be on this puck, and you will not be able to get it out of there. It will be wedged in there, and you are not allowed to be driving over these Quickjacks. You'll probably have hydraulic fluid spilling all over the place. So yeah, that's something I just wanted to point out, guys. Thank you guys again for tuning in. This was just a quick tire, rotation, and I'm just kind of showing you guys with some of the tools we have here at the shop.